Welcome in to the Saturday edition of the Fun Astrology and Merriman Market Analyst Saturday Financial Podcast. I'm Thomas Miller on February 10th. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's dig into the free weekly newsletter on MMAcycles.com written by Ray Merriman, a veteran of over 50 years of financial and astrological analysis, and read here every week. Except next week, we won't be doing the column because Ray will be preparing for a special presentation on February 18th that we'll tell you about at the end of the episode. So to kick off this week, a couple of articles about the markets this week. First of all, from CNBC on Friday. Stocks rose on Friday after December's revised inflation reading came in lower than first reported, and the S&P 500 closed above the key 5,000 level as strong earnings and economic news chugged on. Adam Turnquist, the chief technical strategist at LPL Financial, said, "A close above this closely watched level will undoubtedly create headlines and further feed fear of missing out, or FOMO, emotions." And then from Fox Business News, also on Friday, New York Community Bank, NYCB, was hit with its third credit downgrade as fears linger that the regional bank could be in peril nearly a year after the regional banking sector was hit by a crisis that triggered some of the largest bank failures in U.S. history. Now, Ray's commentary. The flip the script narrative of Pluto entering Aquarius on January 20th for the third time of 5 continued to unfold last week in the 2024 U.S. presidential election drama. At some point, it will affect financial markets, but maybe just not yet. Or maybe it will begin now as we are setting up the first stages of a possible intermarket bearish divergence signal in an MMA Geocosmic Critical Reversal Date, or CRD, time band. This critical date is anchored with Friday's February 9th new moon in Aquarius, which just happened to also square Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, on February 8th. As we know, Uranus is the planetary correlation to either a breakout to new highs, or new lows if the market is testing multi-month lows, or a reversal of the trend, or both. In other words, breakout to new highs and a reversal. It might be a case of both here in the U.S. equity markets, as the S&P and NASDAQ indeed made new all-time highs last week, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average could not take out its all-time high formed the prior week on February 2nd. This setup was discussed as a tradable possibility in our MMA weekly subscription service last week and will be updated with this Saturday's report. New stock market highs with divergences were also noted in Europe, where the Netherlands AEX and German DAX indices soared to all-time highs that were not matched by the London FTSE or Zurich SMI. In fact, the Zurich SMI declined rather sharply last week after posting a new multi-month high the prior week. Stock market indices were all over the place in the Far East. Japan's Nikkei index continued its massive rally to its highest levels since the all-time high of December 1989. It's on a path to take out that high this year, maybe sooner than later. However, India's Nifty index and Australia's All Ords, the ASX, could not make new intraday all-time highs. They came close again, or even exceed the high of the prior week, which is yet another example of an intermarket bearish divergence pattern setting up in a geocosmic CRD or critical reversal zone. Yet in Hong Kong, another decline on Friday tested its multi-year low of the prior week, while in China the Shanghai Composite fell to its lowest level in 5 years last Monday and then commenced a sharp reversal up, suggesting the beginning of a new primary and possibly longer-term cycle, as described in our last MMA China Cycles report. The next MMA China Cycles report will come out a week from Monday, as the Chinese New Year begins now, so there will be no trading for a week in China, as much celebration gets underway there. They do like to party. In other markets, Bitcoin and crude oil enjoyed strong rallies. Bitcoin rallied to 48,183 on Friday, testing its January 11th yearly high of 49,038 before turning south. On the other hand, Ethereum had only a modest rally to 25.24, well off its recent high of 27.17 on January 17th. A case of intermarket bearish divergence might be setting up here too, if Bitcoin makes a new yearly high and Ethereum fails. Crude oil displayed a pattern similar to Bitcoin, with a nice secondary rally into Friday's high of 77.29, up from a major cycle low of 71.41 formed on Monday, February 5th, but still slightly below its recent high of 79.29 made the prior week on January 29th. Gold and silver continued in a congested triangle pattern, but it is notable that the Gold Mining Company's Index, the HUI, fell to a new low for the latter stage of this primary cycle, but gold and silver did not yet. Now the short-term Geocosmics. And in the newsletter, there is a political analysis based on some of this week's both news and astrology. I'm going to skip that for our podcast. If you're interested in that analysis, you can just go to MMAcycles.com. But I will tag with these final couple of paragraphs. Ray says that the surprises and the flip the script theme continue in their effect over the next 2 weeks as both Mars and Venus cross from Capricorn into Aquarius, and then they conjunct each other as well as Pluto between February 13th and 22nd. Likewise, financial markets may continue to surprise traders, either with more breakouts to new highs or sudden reversals, for we are still in the unpredictable season of Aquarius, also marked by strong aspects to its ruling planet Uranus. Mars, Venus, and Pluto pertain to financial themes of debt, and hence currency prices and interest rate-related markets. We will look for more important market activity here, as well as in grain markets, also connected to Venus and Pluto dynamics. Outside of the financial area, this combination also suggests powerful changes in relationships. It can indicate intense and passionate experiences, combined with powerful displays of jealousy, even threats of reprisals for perceived or real acts of disloyalty. Pluto is involved with the planets of lovers, Venus and Mars. And with Pluto in this combination, lovers who violate loyalty oaths may not escape unscathed. It may be the end of the relationship. It may also be the beginning of a new passionate adventure, but one that may also contain deep-seated psychological dramas. Are you playing with me, or is this for real? Now, in the newsletter at the very end is a link to this Forecast 2024 update webinar at MMAcycles.com. That's an update on everything that was discussed in the Forecast 2024 book, as things are already starting to dramatically unfold. And by the way, that audio book is, yes, still absolutely available at hightimelinebooks.com and also MMAcycles.com. We are doing our horary practicum this afternoon with Robert Glasscock. The information for that is at the top of funastrology.com. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of the weekend.